Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation. Forrester Research is a well-known analyst firm, and we do research. We help people with individual advisory, both on the user side and also on the vendor side sometimes, to find the right markets and define the right products. We also do a lot of surveys and ask people what they want to do. And that's a kind of unique thing with Forrester, that we really try to understand demand and be very careful on overhyping things. So you always see the lowest market expected numbers from Forrester compared to other analysts. So me personally, I'm principal analyst and VP at Forrester, covering platform technologies, so both in the cloud and on-premise, mostly looking at software, at platform software. And it's amazing how people changed the way they use these platforms, both middleware platforms, communication platforms, to achieve a significant disruption in their core business. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So one of the core themes is what we call the age of the customer. And the age of the customer is a main disruption in your core business, not in IT. So let's have a look at what makes the core business different over time. So what you see here is, in the 1900s, we saw the age of manufacturing, right? Those companies that did manufacturing of discrete products in a serialized way, the best, were big brands, successful. And then in the 1960s, we had companies that did the distribution best. So for example, Toyota selling outside Japan. That wasn't that easy before being able to do the logistics well and get it distributed. In the 1990s, for 2 decades, we had the value of information. At that time, you could value a thing by, was it a tape, a CD, or a DVD? So the condensed volume of information was related to the value of a product. And now the Blu-ray has even more density, and the prices for Blu-ray is more than for a DVD. So you see the distribution combined with the information was driving this decade. And driving most information was important, especially for mega vendors like Google, aggregating the information of all of you, right? So we are not Google's users, we are the product. Have you thought about that? So information is the product in that decade. But now we are moving to something that we at Forrester call the age of the customer. And the age of the customer is really driven by a customer obsession, by going beyond the value of optimizing your own thing into optimizing the customer experience. And you see this, for example, with companies like Salesforce.com or Macy's or again Amazon, right? Amazon even pressing prices down to the maximum. They challenge themselves on being the cheapest, right? This is optimizing the customer value. They could raise the prices and have more margin, but that's not their model. Their model is to challenge themselves to get the biggest volume, to get the biggest customer satisfaction. So you see that something is about to happen here. And let's go into a little bit more detail and understand what the age of the customer is. And the age of the customer is driven by 4 key characteristics, which is first, a totally different customer experience. And second, a mobile mind shift. By the way, we just published another book on the mobile mind shift that is about to be available in the next couple of days. And again, we have a so-called digital disruption. Sounds a little bit abstract. I'll give an example in a minute. And obviously, we have something like a big data, but here more in the sense of big insight. So it's very important that I'm not talking about these kind of technology trends. I'm not talking about cloud, mobile, big data, social. I think these are technology enablers. I'm talking about the way the customer experience is changing, stimulated by these technologies. So keep in mind, customer experience, mobile mind shift, business disruption, and big insight. So let's have a look at an example. So a very interesting example is actually out of Germany, which is in microinsurance. Does anybody know what a microinsurance is? No? Okay, very interesting company. So this company, real company called SureNow, is selling insurances real time. So what they did in the winter time, for example, they insured skiing equipment. And this really works like this. You're on the top of the hill, look down, say, ooh, that's steep. Oh, not much snow today. So better I insure my new skis. Take a picture of your skis with your smartphone and send it to the app of SureNow and got the insurance 2 seconds later. So you see how interesting that is. It totally changed your experience with an insurance company, right? What is an insurance company today for most of us? It's an old-fashioned thing where you insure your car, or maybe if you insure your skis, you do it because of the possibility that they are stolen or something, but you're not insuring it based on your real context in life. So you see that this is a totally new experience between the consumer directly and an insurance company. Second, it is mobile only, right? You're not bringing your laptop to the skiing hill, right? You are mobile only. This works mobile only, exclusively. It would never work in a different way. And it is significantly disrupting the original business model. So think of the traditional equipment insurance services. Basically, they collapse within a season, right? Because of this new app that is around. And finally, big data is significantly important because you need to have big insight in this customer, simply to protect you on fraud. Maybe the guy is insuring the ski that are broken already, right? So be serious on analyzing the profile of the person. So you see how this new model is creating a connected business model between two people, the consumer in real life and the insurance company, that did not exist before. And we see in general this behavior of customers, partners, employees, and also the connectivity to smart systems that we call at Forrester the connection with the so-called systems of engagement. So engaging with those business partners and also with your employees is a totally different thing than running a systems of record. I'll give you a very brief example. A systems of record, for example, is an HR system, right? Who runs an HR system? Everybody needs to run an HR system, right? To make a payroll management, to send the salary to your employees. So the perspective that system was written in was the admin, right? The HR clerk that sits in front of the payroll management. Was that system ever made to make the employee happy? Well, maybe with money, but not to talk about career plan, goal negotiation, goal achievement, and all that. So that is suddenly happening in a systems of engagement. And people turn out to invest more in systems of engagement than in the maintenance of the system of record. That's why at the end SAP bought SuccessFactors, right? Because people shut down the maintenance for the SAP HR because all the innovation was happening on the engagement edge with companies like SuccessFactors. So you see that there is a significant new challenge getting these two systems connected and understanding the context. The context could mean that your customer are acting with a Twitter handle, but you want to connect them to a customer record. So let's look at what this means in the evolution of your environments, getting from functions and features to a connected business. And here we have the key slide of this presentation that that you will meet over the day again, also in the panel session. Before we talked about unified communication, and I have to realize that in many cases unified communication was a big frustration for people, because unified communication was started by many CIOs, many people like you, with cost saving in mind. So was it really cheaper? Maybe, maybe not. Then people moved into a connected enterprise. And what the connected enterprise is, it is significantly different than a consolidation of communication methodologies and techniques. Now in the connected enterprise, you connect people in a new way. You connect people that haven't found each other before. That's the key difference. So, for example, if you're in a company and the salesperson has a demanding customer and maybe the customer is asking for a product that does not exist, right? So what did you do in the past? In unified communication, you reach out via IM to 5 different people that you know, asking them, hey, can you help me with that demanding customer? What you do in a connected enterprise, you reach out with a social collaboration tool like Salesforce Chatter, like TipGoodTipper, or like Microsoft Yammer, to reach out with your problem to the community inside your company, and maybe somebody else is answering you that you didn't know before. Right? So you connect the enterprise in a new way that people did not connect before. So we are able to do this for a while, but now in the age of the customer, moving to the connected business is the externalization of all that. So the connected business is finding new business models that did not exist before. Like you saw with the microinsurance example. So that business model did not exist before. A traditional insurance company cannot sell an insurance contract within 2 seconds. They can't. But they can engage with a systems of engagement like SureNow to broker that. So you see how the new systems of engagement embrace a connected business. And that's why, dear audience, most of you guys coming even out of IT will be challenged with top-line goals in the future. Cost saving is over. It is about contributing to the core business with your ideas. That's what we see with the connected business. And we see already an interesting correlation. So here we asked people, for example, to what extent they use collaboration software. And you see that more successful companies use more collaboration software. Well, you could say, well, if they are more successful, they have more money to spend on collaboration software. Well, you could also say the other way around, they are more successful because they spend more money on collaboration software. So the correlation is interesting. There's no correlation the other way around. It is that way. So let's have a look at the changing buying personas. So we see a major shift, especially stimulated with software as a service and cloud computing, to buying business units. Right? So the head of sales, the head of marketing, just go out and buy a CRM software as a service. Sometimes even without asking the IT. Right? Maybe 2 years later they come back and say, I'm sorry, now we need integration. But that's how the buying decisions were made. Right? And so we see that especially using data and predictive data put in charge, number one here, include business executives as key decision makers into sourcing processes. And you see your challenge as a CIO being around that circle. Around this circle, you see the change in culture that you have to drive, right? Change in culture. Remember my example, jumping from the connected enterprise to the connected business. That is significantly changing your culture even. Jumping from the old UC to the connected enterprise is changing the culture of the employees. Right? The organization, the department, the ecosystem. We are in an open ecosystem connecting business partners, maybe even connecting some of your former competitors. Right? Think of that. We see some of that already since decades in the airline industry, right? Look at Star Alliance, for example. One of the most successful alliances in the airline industry. Lufthansa was nearly bankrupt before they founded Star Alliance. Right? Now they are wealth, or more or less. But it's at least a significant survival strategy to partner with a competitor to engage easier with your customer. So there's a significant movement around the so-called Internet of Things, and we are talking about connected fish, was it, or and connected whatever. This is a significant movement, and we are doing base research on business models and technology. By the way, one of my most exciting reports this year actually will be published on this Friday, so check out Forrester.com for a new report from me on the Internet of Things. And what you see here is that there is a significant stimulation from the bring your own device momentum, even with the Internet of Things. So you can imagine, for example, by the way, this is data from the tablet market. So the bring your own tablet, that is the yellow curve, stimulated the business models that CIOs and enterprises created and the spending into mobile applications. It was not that the CIO said, oh no, we have great mobile technology, let's purchase corporate tablets. No. It was the other way around. The employees and the executives came in with the tablets and said, hey CIO, you need to get this damn enterprise app on my tablet. Right? It was that pressure. So the enterprise apps moved up, and then the bring your own device went down because it was simply complemented by the corporate tablet purchasing models. Right? This is how the sequence is, and it will be the same with the connected devices. It will be wearable computings. It will be motion trackers, for example, like Fitbit and consumer devices like a Nike Fuel Band, but then suddenly bridging into enterprise models. So what you see here is today we have a clear split between connected devices, Internet models, Internet of Things models in the enterprise and in the consumer space. That needs to be bridged, and maybe your Fitbit needs to be connected into a health insurance model where you get a bonus on your health insurance if you move more. So let's get to a summary. What should you do? As a CIO, as a head of IT, head of business development, head of the new age of the customer. First, get everybody together. Management buy-in. A digital agenda is not a subject of the CIO or anybody in IT. It's a subject of that group of people, headed by the head of the company. Get everybody together, align on an agenda to embrace the age of the customer, supported by digital business models, supported by connected businesses. Get beyond simply unified communication or connected enterprise. So hopefully next year this conference is called Connected Business or Digital Business and not just the Connected Enterprise. And you can go through these 3 steps. So this is basically your cookbook, defining the technology, moving to the understanding where you are, moving into the digital domains, and creating these digital business models. So think of this insurance company idea. And then finally embrace the Internet of Things. I realized that in most cases, even if you have traditional physical products, could be a car, could be one more interesting example. For example, a company that is doing compressors, right? CASA, one of the major manufacturers of compressors. Traditionally, they sell compressors. That's a CapEx model, right? They sell you a compressor to compress air, to connect in your production or whatever you do to drive a robot or something. And now they connected all the compressors with sensors to do predictive maintenance. To tell you, hey, your compressor needs maintenance, otherwise it breaks down next week. And now after they realized this, they said, hey, wait a second. Now we can predict so well what our compressors are doing based on the measured usage. Why don't we sell compressed air? So they totally added to their core business of selling compressors. They added compressed air as a service. Amazing example, and only possible because of this disruption into a digital product, into a connected business. And with that, I'd like to thank you a lot.